We're here on This Week in Poker to let you in on the details of the poker industry. The most talked about topic among poker players this week, oddly enough, had nothing at all to do about poker. High stakes golf took Las Vegas by storm this week with its inaugural event, the Doyle Brunson and Dewey Tomko Golf Invitational. High stakes poker players have long been known for the fact that they'll gamble on just about anything, and what better place to put up a few $1,000,000 than the golf course?
The Doyle Brunson and Dewey Tomko Golf Invitational consisted of two separate events held this week at the Valley High Golf Club, which is just south of Mandalay Bay on Las Vegas Boulevard. The first event was a three-person gambler's scramble, where three teams of three played each other and competed for a prize pool of $9 million. That means each individual player ponied up $1 million. The teams were Doyle Brunson, Dewey Tomko, and Vince Van Patten, Eric Lindgren, Daniel Negreanu, and Josh Aryeh, and Russ Hamilton, Phil Hellmuth, and the owner of the Valley High Golf Course, Billy Walters.
The next day, there was a best ball tournament where players competed in teams of two. This event had a buy-in of $250,000. Of course, Card Player TV was there both days, and though we can't let you in on the results, we did have the chance to talk to quite a few of the participants.
Mark, how did you get involved with high stakes golf?
Well, it actually goes back about 1.5 2 years ago when we were inspired by Rick Riley's book, Who's Your Caddy? And it kind of chronicled guys, playing for big stakes as well as, other tour professionals as well. But that was really the spark of the idea, married with the popularity of the World Series of Poker, bringing those two things together and building a tour around it.
And then did you reach out to Doyle and Dewey, or how did that happen?
Yeah, actually, I reached out to Rick Riley first, and then Doyle and Dewey. All three of them are actually partners in High Stakes Entertainment, as well as, of course, two of them are playing here today.
Oh, okay. So is there going to be more tours of high stake golf?
Absolutely. That's the whole idea behind this. Really, the Doyle Brunson and Dewey Tomko Invitational is going to be the masters, so to speak, of the High Stakes Golf Tour. So the plan next year is to do between 4 and 6 events, and we'll see how that goes and whether or not that's enough or not enough going forward. But plan to be at least 2 international events, and we're looking at 4 domestic events, not necessarily always in Vegas, but even other sites around the country.
And will the stakes vary and the way that they play vary at the different courses?
Yeah, absolutely. The whole idea is to try to get people to understand the games that these guys play, a little bit about their personalities and what makes them so dang successful at what they're doing here.
For more of Card Player TV's coverage of the Doyle Brunson and Dewey Tomko Golf Invitational, check back early next week. And if you'd like to find out which poker players came away from the golf course as winners, be sure to watch ESPN on October 21st and October 28th. High Stakes Golf will air noon Pacific time on both days.
The 4th season of High Stakes Poker is set to air on Monday, August 27th on GSN. Pros that were on the golf course earlier in the week, like Doyle Brunson, Phil Hellmuth, and Daniel Negreanu, were seated at the table for Season 4. It was filmed in May of this year at the South Point Hotel and Casino right here in Las Vegas. Card Player TV was there to bring the high stakes action straight to you.
So I know a lot of players want to be on high stakes poker. When you're filming the season, you can't have everyone on there, obviously. So how do you select which players you're going to invite to filming?
We'd like to invite the players that, they've had a hot year. They're doing good that year, and everybody's interested to see if it's just a fluke, because high stakes really shows public whether or not they are good poker players. I mean, accomplished poker players. So we invite, like last year, Paul Wasika was making a name for himself and World Series of Poker and the Heads Up Championship. And I'm sorry, it was actually before he won the Heads Up Championship before. But he was in such a hot streak. We invited him to High Stakes Poker to see how he plays the cash game. And also there are people that are out there, the poker players that will tell us, hey, this kid is making a name for himself, and we'll bring him in. So, but we are never going to have go away from the core players. Yeah. And these are the players that have been known for many, many years. They're not going anywhere. They're great players. And they're out there with the camaraderie they have, create great show.
The High Stakes Poker video in its entirety is set for release on Card Player TV next Wednesday, so make sure to check it out. The upcoming season of High Stakes Poker is the richest cash game ever to be broadcast on television. During the last 7 episodes, there's over $5 million on the table, and at times, much more than that. The premiere episode of Season 4 airs later this month on GSN.
Earlier this week, 2 counties in West Virginia approved a referendum to allow table games in existing casinos and racetracks. In Ohio and Hancock counties, voters approved table games such as poker and blackjack by nearly 2-1. The referendum was rejected in Jefferson County, but another county is on the verge of officially passing it.
Kanawha County passed the table game referendum, but the votes were so close that a recount was necessary, as it was only a narrow 33-vote victory. As of now, the lead has widened in favor of table games. The unofficial count is a 146-vote lead to pass the referendum. However, it was announced that this morning another 200 uncounted ballots need to be added. There is currently no word about where these votes came from.
In international news, Card Player Media has launched CardPlayerItalia.com. The Italian website is an extension of Card Player Italia magazine. CardPlayerItalia.com features complete tournament coverage from European events, poker news, and articles written by Italian poker pros like Cristiano Blanco and Max Pescatori. There is also a Card Player Italian Player of the Year race, which is based on Card Player's own Player of the Year race and will honor Italian poker professionals.
Also overseas, the Asian Pacific Poker Tour's inaugural event begins next week in the Philippines. There are 3 events scheduled, and the first stop is at the Hyatt Hotel and Casino in Manila. The tournament starts next Thursday, August 23rd, and has a $2,500 buy-in.
Poker pros like Joe Hashem and Daniel Negreanu have already bought into the Philippines' first major televised poker tournament. The next event is set for the end of September in Seoul, South Korea. At the end of 2007, the Asia Pacific Poker Tour will conclude at the Star City Casino in Sydney, Australia.
Back here in the United States, the Commerce Casino has added electronic poker tables to the multitude of tables that already fill their casino. These electronic poker tables feature sit-and-go tournaments, which were not previously available at the Commerce Casino. The Lightning poker tables require no dealers, chips, or cards. This means that the hands are dealt and completed in much less time than they would have been if they were players at a traditional poker table.
Soon, the Card Player team will be heading out to California for the Legends of Poker at the Bicycle Casino. The $10,000 buy-in World Poker Tour event starts next weekend. Last year, Joe Pelton won over $1.5 million when he beat Frankie Odell to claim the title. The Legends of Poker is the first WPT event that will be exclusively covered by Card Player Media and the World Poker Tour, so gear yourself up for the best tournament reporting in the industry.
And that sums up This Week in Poker. We hope you all have a fantastic weekend.
For Christy Arnett, I'm Lizzie Harrison for Card Player TV.